Have you ever been there? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. The house is quiet. Everyone else is asleep. But your mind is racing. You're staring at the ceiling. Are we going to be okay? You're thinking about the car that's making that funny noise. The credit card bill that's due next week. The fact that your kid needs braces. The weight of it all feels like a physical thing, pressing down on your chest. You wonder if you're the only one who feels this way. That constant, low-grade hum of anxiety about money. You work so hard day in and day out, but it feels like you're just treading water, never getting ahead. Let me tell you something right now. From the bottom of my heart, you are not alone. Not even close. Millions of hardworking Americans are lying awake at this very moment, asking that same exact question. They're good people. They love their families. They show up to their jobs and do what's asked of them. Somewhere along the way, the math just stopped working. Paychecks come in, then seem to disappear just as fast. It feels like you're running on a hamster wheel. The faster you run, the faster it spins. You start to believe this is just how life is. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be this way? Let's talk about some of the lies we've been told about money. These are the myths that keep good people broke and stressed out. The biggest one of all? That debt is a tool. You've heard it 1,000 times. Credit card? You need one to build credit. Car loan? You need one to buy a reliable car. Student loan? You need one to get a good education. They make it sound so sophisticated, so necessary. They want you to believe you can't get by without borrowing money. Leveraging other people's money is the smart way to get ahead. What a crock of baloney. Another huge myth. You deserve nice things right now. Instant gratification culture. You see your neighbor with a brand new truck. You think, I work just as hard as he does. So you sign a 72-month loan with payments that choke your budget. Keeping up with the Joneses. But the Joneses are broke. Trying to look rich is the fastest way to stay poor. Myth of the credit score. Worship at the altar of the FICO. Your credit score is not a measure of money health. So we've talked about the myths. Now let's bust them wide open. Look at why following the crowd, being normal, is a recipe for disaster. Let's start with that big lie. Debt is a tool. A tool is something you control. A tool helps you build. But in debt, you're not in control. The bank is. The credit card company is. Debt becomes your master. You become its slave. Every month you have to feed the master. You must make your payments. Debt tears down your future. Think about the car payment. The average car payment is over $700 a month. $700. Imagine what an extra $700 could do. Pay off other debts, build an emergency fund, invest for retirement and become a millionaire. Instead, that money goes to the bank for a depreciating asset. That's a trap. It's mathematically insane. What about the credit score? The one everyone obsesses over. A high score = long history of borrowing from many sources. The system is designed to get you into debt and keep you there. It's a well-oiled machine, and it starts when you're young. They get you in college with a free t-shirt. They get you in college with a credit card application. They tell you it's for emergencies. For a broke college kid, a Tuesday pizza can feel like an emergency. Before you know it, you've maxed out that first card. Here comes another offer in the mail with a higher limit. It's a slow, subtle process. They numb you to the idea of borrowing. They make it feel easy, convenient, completely normal to swipe a piece of plastic instead of using real money. Then comes the bigger stuff. The car loan is a perfect example of how they hook you. The first question isn't what car are you looking for, it's how much of a monthly payment can you afford. They don't want to talk about the total price of the car. They want to focus on that one seemingly manageable monthly number. They'll stretch the loan out for 60, 72, even 84 months to get you to say yes. They know that if they can get you to focus on the payment, you'll stop thinking about paying thousands of dollars in interest for a car you can't actually afford. You end up with payments that choke your budget. Student loans are another vicious part of the trap. They graduate with a degree and a mountain of student loans that will follow them for decades. Let me tell you about a couple I know. We'll call them Mark and Sarah Thompson. They're a great couple in their mid-30s with 2 young kids. Mark is a manager at a retail store and Sarah is a part-time nurse. Together, they bring in about $90,000 a year, which sounds like a pretty good income. From the outside, they looked like they had it all together. They drove 2 decent-looking SUVs, they took a beach vacation every summer, but, behind closed doors, the story was very different. Mark and Sarah were drowning. That $90,000 income was gone before it even hit their bank account. They had 2 car payments totaling over $900 a month. They had $25,000 in credit card debt. It was spread across 4 different cards. Each card carried a double-digit interest rate. Every month was a frantic shell game. They moved money from one place to another just to keep the lights on and make the minimum payments. They fought about money constantly. The stress was tearing their marriage apart. The breaking point came one winter when their furnace went out. The repair was going to cost $3,000. They didn't have $3,000. They had nothing. That's when they finally looked at each other and said, "This is insane." The journey out of debt and into financial peace begins with a single step. But it's not just any step. It's the most critical one you will ever take. It's what we call baby step 1. Save $1,000 for a starter emergency fund. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Dave, I've got all this debt. Shouldn't I throw every extra penny at my credit cards? I understand that thinking, but the answer is no. Why? Because life happens. The car will break down. The kid will get sick. The water heater will leak. If you don't have a small cushion of cash to handle these little emergencies, what are you going to do? You're going to go right back into debt. This $1,000 is not an investment. It's not a down payment. It is insurance. It's a buffer between you and life. Having that cash on hand changes your mindset. It's a tiny taste of security. It stops the cycle of borrowing. When Murphy shows up at your door, and trust me, he will, you can look him in the eye and say, "I'm ready for you." You pay for the emergency with cash and you keep moving forward instead of taking 10 steps backward. It's about creating momentum and giving yourself a small win right at the beginning. So, how do you get that $1,000 as fast as humanly possible? You have to get intense. Once you have your $1,000 starter emergency fund in place, it's time to get Gazelle intense and attack your debt. This is baby step 2, and it's where the real magic happens. This is the debt snowball. Here's how it works. You list all of your debts except for your house from smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate. I know that sounds counterintuitive. The math nerds out there are screaming, pay the highest interest rate first. But I told you, personal finance is 80% behavior. You need some quick wins to keep you in the game. You focus all of your energy and every extra dollar you can find on that smallest debt. You make minimum payments on everything else, but you attack that smallest one with a vengeance. You're eating beans and rice. You've stopped going out to eat. You've canceled your cable. You are on a mission. When you pay off that first small debt, you get a victory. You feel that rush. You prove to yourself that you can do this. It builds momentum. Then you take the money you were paying on that first debt and you roll it over like a snowball and apply it to the next smallest debt. Let's go back to our friends, the Thompsons. Their smallest debt was a $500 medical bill. They threw every extra dollar at it and paid it off in 1 month. Victory. Next was a credit card with a $2,000 balance. They took the money they were paying on the medical bill, plus everything else they could find, and knocked out that credit card in 3 months. Boom! The snowball was getting bigger. They could feel the momentum. Getting out of debt is a huge accomplishment, but it's not the finish line. The goal isn't just to get out of debt, it's to stay out of debt and build a life of financial peace. To do that, you have to replace your old, broken money habits with new, healthy ones. The most important new habit you need to build is living on a written monthly budget. A budget is not a straitjacket designed to keep you from having fun. A budget is you telling your money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. It's a plan. It's empowerment. You give every single dollar a name on paper, on purpose, before the month begins. This new habit requires you and your spouse, if you're married, to be on the same page. You need to sit down together before each month and have a budget meeting. This isn't a time for fighting. It's a time for dreaming together. You talk about your goals. You plan your expenses. You agree on how every dollar of your income will be used. When you're working together as a team, you can achieve so much more. The world is constantly screaming at you to buy more. You have to intentionally guard your heart against the disease of I want. This means being thankful for what you have right now. Contentment is a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. Figure out how much it costs, and then create a line item in your budget called New Couch Fund. You put money into that fund every month until you have enough to go to the store and buy it with cash. Not only does this keep you out of debt, but it also makes you appreciate the purchase more because you worked and waited for it. Budgeting, contentment, delayed gratification are the building blocks of a secure financial future. They become your foundation. Imagine a life with no payments, no car payments, no student loan payments, no credit card payments. The only debt you might have is a mortgage you're paying off ahead of schedule. What would that feel like? Imagine your entire paycheck belonging to you. You can give generously to your church or a cause you believe in. You can save for your kids' college so they can start without debt. You can invest aggressively for your retirement and build lasting wealth. This is not a pipe dream. This is reality for people who choose to live differently. This is financial peace. Once you're out of debt and have a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months, that's baby step 3, the world opens up. You can start building wealth. You can start truly planning for the future. The fear is gone. The stress that used to keep you up at night is replaced by security and confidence. You're no longer a slave to the lender. You are in control of your destiny. You can make career choices based on passion, not just pay. You have options. You have freedom. This journey changes more than your bank account. It changes you. You learn discipline. You learn patience. You learn to communicate better with your spouse. When your family works together to become debt-free, it creates an unbreakable bond. You pass these lessons on to your children. Start today. Start right now. Your future self will thank you.